So there I was, standing in my own kitchen. My daughter was visiting with the children. Maya, she is 5, was doing something that 5-year-olds do, which is to say she was doing exactly what she had been asked not to do. And my daughter looked at her in a voice I recognized immediately and told her she was being ridiculous. The exact word, the exact tone, the particular way the syllables landed. I knew that voice. I had used it myself. On Maya's mum. About 30 years ago. Maya's mum caught my expression. She said, "Don't." I said, "I didn't say a word." She said, "You didn't have to." We stood there for a moment, Maya's mum and I, in the particular silence of women who have just understood something simultaneously and would both prefer not to discuss it. Rue the cat walked through, looked at us, and left, which honestly was the correct response. The shouting, the look, the silence that means something, the particular phrase that arrives before you've decided to say it. Every parent has a version, and almost every parent at some point hears it come out of themselves and thinks, "Where did that come from?" I am going to tell you exactly where it came from, and I am going to tell you something else, which is perhaps more useful, what to do about it. The things we carry out of our own childhoods, the techniques, the tones, the responses to a child who won't cooperate or a moment that has run out of patience, these are not character flaws. They are scripts. Someone wrote them before you arrived. You did not choose them. You learned them the way children learn everything that actually sticks, not from being taught, but from being near it, watching, absorbing, filing away. And one day, in your own kitchen, on your own Tuesday, with your own child looking at you from across the room, the file opened, and out it came. My mother had a look. I expect yours did too. Mine was not a shout. If anything, it was quieter than a shout, which made it considerably more efficient. A particular stillness, a quality of attention that said, "I am deciding what to do with my disappointment in you." I swore I would never use it. I used it. My daughter used it. And I watched Maya receive it, that same slight flinch, that same recalibration. And I thought, there it is. 3 generations. Same look. Nobody chose it. Nobody stopped it. Now here is the thing about the shout that nobody tells you. It is almost never about what is in front of you. The spilled cup is not a spilled cup. It is every time you were made to feel careless. The child who won't listen is not just a child who won't listen. They are every person who ever made you feel that what you said did not matter. The shout carries a charge that is older than this moment. It comes from a room you stood in as a child, from a version of exactly this scene, seen from the other side. And this is why the standard advice, breathe, count to 10, leave the room, only gets you so far. The pause is useful, but the pause is not the work. The work is understanding what you are pausing from. Which old room just opened? Which version of you just walked back in? Because a parent who knows that can make a real choice in that moment. A parent who does not know it simply waits, and then the script runs anyway. And until you understand that, really understand it, not just nod at it, you will keep apologizing for the same shout, which brings me to the apology. Most parents who shout also apologize, warmly, genuinely, and with every intention of not doing it again. And then they do it again, and apologize again. And the child, who is watching all of this with the precision only children have, starts to understand something that nobody intended to teach them. That love comes with weather. That the person who is loudest with you is also the person who holds you. That this is simply what closeness feels like. That is not the lesson you are trying to give them, but it is the one they are receiving. I want to stop here because I know what some of you are doing right now. You are making a list, the look, the withdrawal, the comparison. Your sister never does this. When I was your age, other children don't behave this way. The guilt, which in some families is practically a competitive sport, after everything I have done for you. I am not listing these things to make you feel guilty about making your children feel guilty. I am aware of the irony. I simply think it is worth naming them, all of them, because most parents can only see the one they shout. The others run so quietly they are almost invisible. Almost. Maya's mom and I talked about this eventually. Not that afternoon in the kitchen, a few weeks later, after the moment had settled enough to be looked at. She said, "I didn't know I was doing it." I said, "I know, but you know it now." She said, "And that helps?" I said, "More than you think." Because here is what I want you to understand. The moment you heard your own parent's voice come out of your mouth and recognized it, really recognized it, not just vaguely suspected it, that moment already changed something. You cannot unknow it. The script is visible now, and a visible script is one you can interrupt. Not every time, not immediately. Not without the occasional Tuesday where the pressure arrives faster than the awareness. But once you have seen it, once you have named the room you keep walking back into, you have done something that most people who carry these patterns never do. You have broken the automatic. What was unconscious is now a choice. And choices, even imperfect ones, even the ones you only manage some of the time, add up. And some of what you inherited is worth keeping. The directness, the warmth underneath the firmness, the refusal to pretend that difficulty is not difficulty. The task is not to throw everything out. The task is to decide, deliberately for the first time, what stays. And that is something that can only happen once you can see the script clearly, which is, I think, what is happening right now. For a great many of you, something shifted in the last few minutes. A memory surfaced. A moment came back. Something you said last week, or last year, or this morning in the car. Something that landed differently on your own ears than you intended. Hold on to that, not with guilt, with curiosity. Because that flicker of recognition, that is not the problem announcing itself. That is the pattern losing its invisibility. And an invisible pattern is the only kind you cannot change. Maya's mom, for what it is worth, has largely stopped using the look. She caught herself doing it twice last month and stopped mid-expression both times. which, if you have ever tried to stop mid-expression, you will know requires considerable facial discipline. Maya found it confusing. I found it extremely encouraging. Progress, I said. Maya's mum said the word progress had never felt so exhausting. If you heard something in this video that you recognized, if you caught yourself thinking of a specific moment, a specific room, a specific version of a phrase you swore you would never say, that recognition is not guilt. It is the beginning of the end of the pattern. The pattern reset blueprint is in the first link in the pinned comment below. It takes what you have already started, right here in this video, and gives you the specific framework to finish it. What the triggers are, what to replace them with, how to make the new response available in the moment it actually matters. Click it tonight. The realization is already done. The rest is just the work. And if you find yourself thinking, all right, I can see the pattern, I understand where it came from, and then wondering what kind of child grows up in a home where it has been interrupted. The child who learns early that difficulty does not have to mean explosion. That conflict can be walked toward rather than survived. That other people, new people, intimidating people, the whole loud world outside the front door, are something you can face. That child has something that most children spend their whole lives trying to find. I will be talking about what it takes to raise one very soon.